What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Today we're going to be doing 5 easy skills that you can use as a winger or a right midfield, left midfield, whatever you want to call it. I did a video, 5 easy skills to use as a striker, which you can check out in the description or on the screen somewhere right now. But also I'm at Wolverstone FC's ground right here, which is the team I'm playing for. I play all my home games at this stadium if you just want to have a look around. It's a really nice pitch, like a really nice pitch. Like I say, we play all our home games on here now. If you haven't seen the matches, I am uploading my games as well, so if you want to see footage of myself playing, that'll all be in the description or again on the screen somewhere right now. If you want to see more of these skills videos as well, like different positions like right backs and centre mids and stuff, I can do another video like this, but for maybe like centre mids, that'll be the next one I'll do. Let me know if you do enjoy this, leave a like if you do. Let's get into it.
Alright, so going into the first skill, we have the single step over. Now as a winger, the ideal situation is for you to get down the line and whip one in. I mean, you can go inside and do it that way, but as a winger, you know, you're trying to get the ball at the box for your strikers, so the best thing is to do a step over and then move out to the wing and run down that line. Now, you can use many tricks like I say, but this is probably the best and the most used in game situations as it's very simple and it's just a way to dummy your defender one way. Now again, as well, you can combine this skill with a double step over or a step over then chop or anything that you want to put together. But the single step over, if you're running down the right side, you want to go around with your left foot and then take it out with your right, or if you're going down the left side, you want to go around with your right foot and take it out with your left. That's how you use the single step over to its full potential. Now, it's very simple. All you're doing is stepping your foot around the ball, but make sure you keep your foot low. Don't put your foot too high, because then it's kind of obvious on what you're doing. It doesn't really fool the defender. Keep your foot low and put your foot around the ball so they lose sight of the ball for like half a second, and then you can take your touch out and run down that line and get a ball in, whatever you want to do. Alright, so the next skill is the chop. Now, there's a few variations of what you can do with this skill. You can go down the line, but for this sort of instance, I wanted to show you how to go inside, because I feel like Ronaldo uses this the best. That's why I call it the Ronaldo chop. I think there's a song about it and stuff, but either way, the chop, if you want to go inside, is the best to use when you're kind of running on an angle towards the line. That way you've got more of a chance to just cut right back inside, but you're not going too far into the middle where a midfielder might come across and win the ball. So there's 2 ways though to actually beat them. You can actually kick the ball around them, which you see in the examples Elliot and Jack did, or you can kick it just behind them and get your body in front of them, which I prefer because it means I'm closer to the ball and you keep in that player ball sort of situation, so they cannot see the ball very much. If you do try and go around them sometimes, like the Jack and Elliot one, sometimes they might win the ball and then they've gone with the ball and you're caught slacking and there's no way you can catch them up unless you've got really good pace. I would recommend trying mine first, just to chop behind the legs. You're putting your other foot in front of the ball before you chop it, which gives you that defense mechanism. If they want to try and tackle you, they might foul you, or you're just going to get around them. And if you do this really fast, that's when it's best used. If you do it quite slow and sluggish, they might take the ball off you, so you want to make sure you get that skill done as fast as possible and just keep practicing it at home. Keep it in. Now this skill here is called the stop kick. Now it's probably one of the easiest ones I'm going to show you today, because it literally is just stopping the ball with your foot and then kicking it. But the hard part comes with the emphasis and the dummy of trying to beat your defender. Now you'll see what we do is when we run down the line, we run quite fast, we slow down and stop, the whole body stops, but your kind of momentum keeps you going, and that's when you kick it through. Now if you do the dummy perfect and you kind of fool the defender, it'll stop them still, and that's when you kick the ball and you can get in behind and get that extra yard. It's kind of used best when you're right down in the corner and you're trying to get a cross in, because that way you can just get the extra yard before whipping in, because it's not a skill that you can beat them and get far past them. You only gain a yard or 2 past them, so if you do that skill, try then play it off or cross it in or have a shot, whatever you're trying to do. But for a winger, I would recommend using it further up the pitch. If you're about to get a cross in or something like that, that's when you can stop the ball, dummy them, go down the line and kick it in straight away for a cross or to the edge of the box or whatever you want to do. Probably the most simple of today, so you won't have to practice it too much, but yeah, just give it a shot. Okay, so I just showed you the most simple of today. Now I feel like this is the hardest of the 5 today. Now it's the inverted elastico. Now I've shown this before on my channel a couple of times, not too much, so you guys might not have seen this before, but there's 2 variations of this. There's one where you take 2 touches doing the skill, or there's one where it's 1 fluent skill. Now you'll see Elliot and Jack do the 2 touches. They kind of hit it with the inside, then they're outside the foot. But with mine, I kind of make it all one movement, and it can work both ways. It doesn't really make a difference, but it is kind of more obvious when you do the 2 touches. So to get that fluent movement, what you want to try and do is get a little bit of lift on it, because once you go on the inside of your foot, you're kind of getting your foot under the ball and flicking it back out, and then you don't hear that 2-touch connection, which makes it less bait for the defender to know what's going on. And also your body movement's a little bit different when you're doing it all fluent one. But for starters, I would recommend you do the 2-touch. So you're going inside your foot, then outside your foot if you're on the right hand side, then you go down the right wing. And if you're on the left side, the same thing, inside your foot, then outside your foot, and you're going down the left wing. Now, another skill that can be used kind of all around the park, but I like to use it as a winger, because again, it can gain you that 2 or 3 yards that you want on that winger's side to get a cross in or whatever you want to do after that. But it's also a skill that you can stand up and let the defender approach you, because sometimes if you run a full pelt, you won't be able to pull this skill off too nicely. So kind of when the defender comes and tries to tackle you and he comes towards you or she comes towards you, that's your perfect time to pull off this skill and get a few yards. They also are going to commit to you if you do that. Once you make that first movement inside, that's when they're going to step, and that's when you go the other side of them. So give this one a lot of practice. You might not get it first time, but just keep practicing it. Now, like I say, I think the last one was the hardest skill to do, but I feel like this one's the hardest to pull off in a game because it's very situation based. I feel like it only happens and pops up in certain areas for you to be able to do it, but I like it as a winger because there's a lot of times that you're getting forced to push to the line and you can't always face them 1 versus 1, so sometimes you do have your back facing them and you know they're coming in for you. Him or her is going to come in and just wipe you out, or right near the touchline is when you get a lot of slide tackles and stuff because they know the ball's going to go out. So when you've got your back facing them and you know they're coming in, it's a nice little turn. It actually defends you a bit as well from getting absolutely clattered, because if they come in the back of you, you could get hurt. So it's a nice little thing to just turn around and flick over the leg. They're going to really commit to you on that side and you're already moving away and you're already in, you know, down the line wherever you need to be. And it can really work if they slide tackle, because if they try and do that, it's just going to go over their leg and then they're on the floor, you're in behind, and then you've got to go and attack that centre back. But either way, keep practicing this one. It's one, like I say, that pops up in certain areas in a match, so you know you might not use it every game, but it's one that might pop up throughout the season, so make sure you've got it in your locker.